Hello, angels and fellow Jocelyn stans. We have so many jaw-dropping moments to discuss from episode 4 of The Idol. From Tedros' past coming to light, to Dyanne's betrayal getting exposed, to whether or not Jocelyn may be pulling everyone's strings. Stay tuned, subscribe to join the club, and fair warning, spoilers ahead. Let's dive in. This week's episode explores a truly different side of Jocelyn that subverts prior expectations. I couldn't help but ask, is Jocelyn truly the one in control of this entire scenario? We open on Tedros having infiltrated Jocelyn's life, home, and musical process. This raises serious red flags with Destiny and Heche, who concoct a plan to keep an eye on the situation to ensure Tedros delivers on his promise of getting Jocelyn to produce 3 hit songs by the deadline. Even through their concern, it's abundantly clear that they must keep the ship moving and ensure that Jocelyn stays profitable. Destiny is sent in as a Trojan horse for the next couple of days to observe what's transpiring in the house, and it comes as a surprise to her when she sees true talent in Tedros' cult. She describes Chloe as poetic with the ability to make you give your life to God with her lyrics. Isaac has the voice of an angel, and Ramsey has a distinct sound she has never heard of before. This slowly eases her concerns as she sees some real progress being made with Jocelyn's artistic direction. And I have to tell you, I've started to enjoy this darker gothic pop that is reminiscent of the Weeknd's earlier work, such as the Trilogy albums. However, it concerns her that in order to achieve artistic genius, Jocelyn and the rest of Tedros' cult allows him to enact sadistic S&M acts on them. We see the extremes of this when Tedros singles out Xander after noticing he has a great singing voice, but berates him for lying about why he never pursued music as a career. In a truly bone-chilling scene, Tedros is claiming that he will pull the truth out of Xander through pain, has his cult members tie him up and strap an electric dog collar around his neck. This was the moment that made me begin questioning if Jocelyn has been pulling everyone's strings all along, as Xander seems to imply that Jocelyn and her mother were threatened by his talent and forced him to sign a contract to never compete with Jocelyn by pursuing music. He eventually claims he's lying, which is debatable, given that he is in a compromising position and desperate to escape, but there's a look in Tedros' eyes that seems to register this information, and he begins questioning her as well. Maybe Jocelyn isn't as helpless as she's been made to seem throughout the series, and maybe allowing Tedros into her life was more strategic than desperate. I'll get more into that in a bit, but what do you all think? Let me know in the comments section below. Meanwhile, throughout the episode, we cut to scenes of Dyanne at Magistrate Records as she prepares to meet with Nikki and the rest of the record label team. Is she destined to become the new Jocelyn? Well, along the way, we see shots of gold-certified albums and singles, which indicates that this is where hits and stars are made, so it's looking as though that might be the case. Upon initial discussions, Nikki tries to sell the Hollywood dream to Dyanne and says that they don't usually pull people off of the streets. She flexes the power of signing with the record label and attempts to showboat the access to different divisions that would support her debut, the radio bumps they would sponsor, and the power they could supply her with as an artist. I believe this part of the conversation was to position the label above Dyanne as an artist to make this offer seem like a once-in-a-lifetime deal. Nikki goes on to praise Dyanne for being a unique talent, which is juxtaposed with the ironic request to have her step into Jocelyn's spot and make World-Class Sinner her debut lead single. It becomes crystal clear in this moment that they want to capitalize on her talent, replace Jocelyn, and manufacture a new pop idol that they can control and exploit. At the end of the day, they don't care about the individual artist, but only the profit that they can generate from them. And while Tedros is actively exploiting Jocelyn as well, he seems to be inspiring something honest and raw from her in her new music. Although Destiny seems to agree that her new direction is fresh and more unique, she still feels an obligation to question Jocelyn about Tedros' past. Will Tedros' past finally make Jocelyn see the light and step away from this monster? Well, I have to tell you, it doesn't seem to look that way in my opinion, because it is in this moment we learn that Jocelyn is aware of Tedros' real name, Mauricio Costello Jackson, his prior domestic violence charges, and his stint in prison. But what isn't clear is whether or not she truly cares. She seems to willfully play along with Tedros' side of the story, which positions the women as the problem in each scenario. However, we've seen throughout the episode that Jocelyn is aware of his problematic behavior and tolerates it in exchange for better art. This is a deal with the devil type of scenario she finds herself in, but it seems worth it to her. So much so that she listens to Tedros' advice to speak about her abuse on public platforms and exploits her trauma in order to sell out her world tour. Will this sacrifice of her mother's image and reputation be the key to Jocelyn having a successful comeback? I guess we will have to wait and see in the finale if all of this was worth it. In the last few scenes of the episode, things take a turn for the worst, which left me questioning where will Jocelyn go from here? Because upon celebrating her trauma dump online, Tedros crosses a line and disrespects Leia in front of the entire party, which could be the final straw in their friendship. Then Dyanne shows up later that night, and this prompts Chloe to tell Jocelyn about their prior relationship and how Tedros planned for Jocelyn's appearance the night they met. Dyanne admits to Jocelyn that the record label asked her to debut with World-Class Sinner, which devastates Jocelyn. But she tells Dyanne to take the opportunity as she wouldn't want to be in her way. So much happened back to back that I had to take a little bit of a breather, but of course it doesn't stop there. Instead of Jocelyn getting mad, she gets even with Tedros, which cements the idea that she is strategic and cunning in getting exactly what she wants. She reaches out to her ex who cheated on her and puts on a show for Tedros to rile him up and break his heart. I found the bedroom scene to be interesting because Rob seems to genuinely want to connect with Jocelyn about her issues with her mother, to which Jocelyn says she's uninterested in having that conversation, and that isn't why she invited him over. The two of them become intimate, and Jocelyn exaggerates her reactions at full volume for Tedros to hear, which kills him inside. Honestly, it serves him right. The episode ends with Rob taking a photo with one of Tedros's cult members who happens to be a fan, and I believe the photo will play a small but potentially significant role in the finale. My guess is that this will kill off any remaining feelings or hopes of reconciliation between him and Jocelyn once she sees it. Or this could expose the fact that Tedros and his crew are stationed at her house. Overall, I thought that this episode raised some provocative questions about Jocelyn's role in her own exploitation. I began to see her character in a different light, and things became less black and white in my opinion. While going through all of the chaos that is Tedros and his cult result in her making better music and art for the world. I guess this is the main question the series is asking and attempts to set up leading to the finale. As for Dyanne's role in the series, my thoughts on her arc haven't necessarily changed, despite this episode's shocking revelations about her betrayal. I believe that the machine that is the music industry often positions artists against one another, and the public will feed into the narrative of a feud when really they're the villains in the scenario. I just think Dyanne wants her shot at stardom and will unfortunately become the product of that machine, which will cause her to become a cookie cutter and overly manufactured pop idol. Ultimately, I think the finale will try to prove that the artist should follow the path that leads them to be their most authentic self. I believe the biggest hint to this is Destiny's beautiful monologue when speaking to Chloe about following her heart in an industry that will try to take advantage of you. Although it seems that Jocelyn's tour and deal with the record label may be in jeopardy, her success will truly be decided by her fans and their support. Will they take to her new and distinct sound, or will they turn their attention to Dyanne, who will embody her old familiar music? That's all for episode 4 of The Idol. Let me know your thoughts and theories below. Don't forget to subscribe and join the club. Thanks for watching.